Space Jam: A New Legacy is the sequel to Space Jam, this one starring LeBron James and not Michael Jordan. In this movie, LeBron's son is kidnapped by this artificial intelligence, played by Don Cheadle, that tells LeBron, hey, if you want to get your son back, you have to beat me in a basketball team. I'm going to assemble a team, and you're going to go assemble a team, and you have to beat us. With that, LeBron goes out, he meets Bugs Bunny, and they got to go assemble the rest of the Looney Tunes together to form a basketball team. Yep, similar to the very first Space Jam. The first Space Jam is just one of the most nostalgic movies there's ever been. Michael Jordan teams up with the Looney Tunes, and they save, really, the galaxy by playing basketball. It's simple, it's kind of dumb, but it works. It's just good. It's definitely one of those movies that did not deserve a sequel. Well, not deserves the wrong word. It didn't need a sequel. But you know, LeBron James has become one of the biggest stars in the whole world, not just in the sporting world, but just in media in general. I mean, social media, he's an absolute star. The guy produces movies and shows now. I mean, he's got quite the name to himself. And because, as we all know, LeBron James is so obsessed with catching Michael Jordan, of course, I'm sure he was part of what greenlit this Space Jam sequel to happen that would star him. And what we have is one of the most unnecessary sequels there's ever been. I didn't like this movie at all. And people will say it's just because I don't like LeBron James, I don't like this movie. No, not true at all. I don't think this is good. I'm sorry, it's not, and I don't really think you can look me in the eye and tell me that it is. First of all, let me just give you my opinion on LeBron James. Is he the best basketball of this generation? Absolutely. The dude is unbelievable. He's incredible. Future Hall of Famer. There's no question about it. If you try to deny that, you're a fucking idiot. I'm sorry, but you are. That being said, do I believe he is better than Michael Jordan? No, I do not, and I do not believe he ever will be. Yes, I do also think he's a bit of a prima donna. Granted, a lot of big-time athletes are, but he absolutely is. Probably the biggest one of them all. When it comes to LeBron James as an actor, I have seen him in stuff before, and he has shown potential. I actually really liked him in Trainwreck. I'm willing to give him that. I thought he was funny. I thought he worked in that movie. In this movie, though, it's clear he's trying so hard to outdo what Michael Jordan did in Space Jam, but it's just not working. There was something about Michael Jordan in Space Jam that you could just, you could connect with, you could just root for the guy, you were just immediately on board with him. With LeBron, you just feel like, no, you're here because you're just trying to outdo him. You're not really here trying to make the best movie or the best version of Space Jam that you can create. You're trying too hard to be what Michael Jordan was for Space Jam, and it's just not working for you because you're not Michael Jordan. I don't even mean that in the sense like LeBron James is as good as Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan and LeBron are two very different people, so it just doesn't work here. I will also say the story for this movie, it's a very generic one. LeBron's been really tough on his kid. He and his kid get into kind of an argument. Kid just wanders off, then his kid's taken away, and then LeBron's gotta save his kid and realize along the way, what it means to be a father and all that shit. It's a very generic story we have seen 1,000,001 times, especially in these family movies, and now you're just like, okay, so the movie's gonna unfold exactly this way, and there you have it. Also, I gotta say, the chemistry between LeBron James and Bugs Bunny, it's not great. Like, Bugs is there, he brings some laughs. I will say, the movie has some references that made me chuckle. But really, there's nothing in this movie that's hilarious. There's nothing in this movie that was really super funny that had me in tears at any point. I feel like the Looney Tunes themselves didn't get a whole lot of character development. Really, it's Bugs Bunny and Lola. They're the only ones who really get big time to shine. I mean, Daffy Duck gets a few moments here and there, but that's really it. I mean, you throw in basically, everyone from Looney Tunes. I know not everyone's going to get time, but you need to give enough characters time to shine. None of them really did. This really was the LeBron James show. I think that's where the movie suffered. So I get it. This movie's coming out way later, so technology is not advanced as it is. So there's, the scene in the end where, the Looney Tunes become CGI'd and look more real if you want. But to tell you the truth, I think it was better when it was simpler, Like, Michael Jordan, when it was, his Looney Tunes, or his Space Jam, I should say, he was real life, and the Looney Tunes were all cartoons, and it worked. It was just, it was kind of different. It was clearly out of place, but that's what made it work. I feel like this one would have worked better if it was also out of place, but it just didn't. They had to make it all coincide. And that tells you that it's trying too hard to be a modern-day Space Jam. I would say the final basketball game was actually kind of entertaining. I'm not going to say I was bored by it or anything like that, but I will say it kind of unfolds exactly the same way as it does in the original Looney Tunes, so you know exactly how it's going to play out and how it's going to end. That's what I'll say. This movie's completely predictable. You can understand, you know, from the beginning, you know exactly how it's going to unfold and how it's going to end. But all in all, Space Jam: A New Legacy was the most unnecessary movie I've seen in a little while, as far as the sequel goes anyway. LeBron James, he just doesn't have the same charisma or likability or, I don't know, acting chops, at least in a movie like this, that Michael Jordan did, making you say once again, alright, you're still second place, buddy. Looney Tunes don't get the time to shine that they're used to. The movie's not as funny as it should have been. It has the most predictable story ever. It's one you've seen in literally every family movie that you think is ever made. In the end, if you're a fan of Space Jam, you're definitely not going to be a fan of this movie, and if you're not a fan of the first Space Jam, you're gonna fucking hate this movie. I will say this right now, if you really need to see this movie, watch it on HBO Max. Don't actually spend the money to go see this one in theaters. Normally I'm a fan of go see it in theaters, but yeah, don't waste your money. So that's all I gotta say, guys. Thank you so much for watching my video, and as always, don't forget to leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.